Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. We got a full show here today. I'm Hunter, joined always by Trevor. But before we start, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the Wasp drop. That was this past weekend. It was chaotic. It was awesome. They sold out in 4 minutes. I know some of you were upset because you didn't get one. I fully get it. There will be more made. But not with that stamp.
Yeah, every time we do one of these drops, it's like the bar has been raised. So we're like 2,000 wasps. That'll last. We were like, it'll probably sell out in under an hour, but it'll last 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now we know going forward. Like I said, there will be more made. It'll be a different stamp. So if you got some and you want them to be like collector's items and stuff like that, they will be, but new stamps. So we got a full episode here. Going to be talking a lot about the Dynamic Discs Open. We'll quickly right now breeze through the results before we get into some of the main talking points that I think this event brought up here. So yeah, I'll read through the MPO side and I'll let you take on the FPO side.
Okay.
So on the MPO side, we had Paul Macbeth winning by 1, which is shockingly close, as we'll talk a little bit later, averaging 1067 rated golf over Calvin Heimberg, who averaged 1063. And then Emerson Keith came in third with a 1053 average rating on the MPO side.
Yeah. So for the top 3 for the female results, we had Paige Pierce dominating the field again at 14 down. Missy Gannon in not so close to the second place, but at 4 down then in second. And then Katrina Allen and Paige Shue tying for third at 4 up each. And I'll pull up the ratings real quick.
I've got the averages pulled up right here. Yeah, so we had
Okay.
Paige won with an average of 995. Missy Gannon came in with 970. And then Kat and Paige Shue both had 950 averages.
Yeah, that's
so, the top 3 women, they all shot above their rating, minus Kat.
Yeah.
So Kat, I believe, is 960 rated, 966, something like that. So she shot 15 below her rating, whereas Paige was 15 over, and Missy Gannon averaged 30 points over her rating.
That's pretty awesome. That was a pretty solid performance to shoot that well out there in those conditions.
Yeah, so obviously, we'll just talk about the FPO first here. Paige dominated,
Yeah,
which is somewhat we've come to know, but we were talking to Hannah Macbeth yesterday, and I'm not going to steal her thunder because I think she's going to be talking about this on one of her podcast episodes, but she did make a great point that I think should be at least addressed, is that the field wasn't the full FPO field.
Yeah.
And we weren't seeing Evelina, why can't I think of her name? Oh, Kristen Tatar,
Yeah.
Henna, as well as like Jennifer Allen, other players like that they weren't there. So I think that's a good thing to bring up. But
With that being said, Paige Pierce is really good.
yeah, would it have made that much of a difference?
On that course, no. When there's distance in play, Paige has proven that she is just going to throw further than everybody and keep it in the fairways. And also, I feel like long putts become a big factor on courses like that. And we saw her drop that like 90-footer. Like,
oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
She's an insane distance putter. So right now, as far as I'm concerned, Paige is ahead of the field.
Yeah.
But there's a good news is a lot of the players kind of moving up are young. Paige, has been in the game for a while. I wouldn't say she's reached her peak, because I don't think she has. I think she's going to re-rate it over 1,000 before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
But, there's promise. People just need to get up there, because right now Paige is tearing it up.
Yeah, and what's kind of weird about it too is if you go back a few years, Paige has been a dominant force for a while.
Yeah.
But if you go back a few years, Katrina Allen was right up there with her. And rating-wise, she's still one of the highest-rated women. 966 is no joke. There's nothing to scoff at there. But Katrina Allen has recently, within the last year, fallen off due to nothing but putting.
Yeah.
Because, like what you mentioned is true. Like, Paige on an open course, she has the distance. Jennifer Allen has distance too. I think Jennifer Allen's distance doesn't really have as much control as Paige's.
Yeah, there's not much consistency there.
Yeah. I think Jennifer Allen could probably throw farther than Paige.
Yeah.
But she just has more like crush distance, whereas Paige has like controlled distance. But Kat was the other player that could match her there.
True.
Or at least come close.
Yeah.
But I have Kat's stats pulled up right here. And, you know, she was doing decent in a lot of stuff. Like fairways hit, she was second with 76% on the weekend.
Pretty good for that course.
Circle 1 in regulation, she was also second with 41%. Circle 2 in regulation, also second, 67%. So she's basically, I would imagine Paige is the first in all of those.
Yeah.
So she's basically positioning herself to be in second, right? Birdie percentage was third. Scramble rate, 6th. Nothing too bad. But then Circle 1 putting, 44%, which puts her in 15th. Out of 15.
Yeah. I mean, Circle 1 putting, if you're going to be like, I feel like an effective pro, it's got to be at least 80%. And like the top guys and girls are going to be in the mid to high 90s, I feel like, in that category.
Yeah. You can't be competing. I mean, I'm trying to look here, 44%. So, you know, it's going to be hard to tell how many strokes. But she lost by exactly 18. She lost by 18. So over 3 rounds, 44% putting. That can add up fast.
Oh, yeah.
So the only thing that I think might have made a slight difference with some of the like Finnish players and other top FPO players coming over is Paige might have felt some pressure. Yeah. I think that's the only thing that could have caused some difference. Because if you take their play and Paige's play, Paige still beat them. Yeah. If you look at ratings and stuff like that. But Paige this whole weekend had no pressure.
I agree. I feel like she was probably going in there knowing she had it in the bag and being very confident in that.
Yeah, I mean, after round 1, I think she was already up 6 over Kona Panis, and then she never looked back after that.
Yeah, that's cruise control at that point with that much of a cushion.
Yeah. So, I mean, the FPO side, one thing that is kind of, I don't want to say annoying, but they were the only ones with next day coverage.
Yeah.
And it was basically the Paige Pierce show. Which, you know, there was a fight for second and third and stuff like that. I mean, going into the final day, you had Missy Gannon literally quoted saying, "I'm playing for second." Like, I don't, I'm not, going after Paige isn't even on my mind.
Yeah.
Which, valid, but that's never how you want, you know, you don't want that to be a quote from a competitor coming into the final day.
Yeah, no.
But like I said, they were the only ones with next day coverage, and that was due to the MPO side having live coverage only behind a paywall. Yeah. And then the post-produced coverage with Jomez, and I think Central Coast was there, is going to be on CBS Sports.
Yeah.
So this is a huge thing for disc golf.
Very interesting.
But a lot of disc golfers are mad about this.
Yeah, I think people are kind of torn. My whole thing, okay, so yeah, like we see CBS Sports logos around the disc golf course, and we all start freaking out a bit. Like, this is the future. Like, all right, here we go, disc golf. But it's being broadcast in mid-August?
Yeah, August.
Now, there's a couple thoughts in my mind with where the Pro Tour is at, like thinking about this. Either A, they just saw the name CBS Sports come up on their radar and they just jumped on it. They were like, I don't really care what the conditions are. Yeah. Because this could just be big for disc golf, which, you know, it's hard not to, I get it. Or two, you know, my other thought is like, who's going to be tuning into this broadcast? Who are we targeting? Obviously, you know, at least disc golf fans are going to tune in, but maybe not even for all the rounds. They might just want to, you know, see the first round just to see what it looks like, or maybe they just want to see the last round because it's the final round. Yeah. You know, is it going to actually attract non-disc golf fans to, you know, are they going to be scrolling through their TV and say, oh, what's disc golf, and click on it? I think that's kind of the hope with this whole thing. But I'm not sure how effective it'll be, especially when it's so far past the original play date. Yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
The key is going to be what, sports-wise, with the condition of the world right now, what's going on in August?
Well, that's the thing. Everything is kicking up in July, like late July. I know, you know, hockey, like NHL training camps start, I think, the 10th of July. Basketball, I want to say, resumes at the end of July. Like that, I feel like that stuff's going to overlap, and that's trouble.
Yeah. I think if there's, honestly, the time this should have been on TV is now.
Now it was perfect to capitalize. Yeah.
But being on CBS Sports alone, I think, is big for the sport, and just in the fact that you're going to get the disc golfers to watch, like you said, that's not gaining any new audience. Yeah. But just the odd chance, and I don't know what time of the day or what day of the week, because that's a key.
That's the other thing. Is it going to be a Tuesday afternoon?
Well, I was going to say, knowing like some of the past things with the disc golf and ESPN and stuff like that, it could be like a Sunday at 2 a.m. type of a time slot. Yeah. I don't think they would do that to us.
I hope not.
But it's a possibility. But I think the key is if it's in. I don't think it's gonna be in a primetime slot. I don't think it's gonna be like a 7 p.m.
No.
But if it's at like a 5 p.m. slot,
it's not bad.
Something like that, where you might catch those people just scrolling through, bored out of their mind, waiting for work to start or just got off work.
If it's a weekend slot at all, I would be very impressed.
Yeah. Well, we have 4 slots.
Yeah.
Because they're doing each round. From what I understood, there's each 1 hour, 4 1-hour slots. The 3 rounds, it's gonna be. I don't know if it's gonna be shot by shot or more like golf cutting back and forth.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
And then the 4th round is the skins, which they just shot with. I'm trying to think who all was in it. I know Paige, Paul, I think Nico, Missy Gannon, Rebecca Cox, Ricky. There was 8 people.
Yeah,
I don't know if I just
Nico
named 7
on
or 8.
TV. I like that.
Yeah. That could be interesting. I mean, for a skins match, I feel like he won't get.
No, I mean.
It was also like the highest paying skins match in disc golf history or something like that.
Really?
Something along those lines.
Where
I don't know.
added cash came from.
Straight out of the tournament's pocket,
somebody
probably.
slid in. Yeah, talk about that.
But I don't know. I think it could be big. I could see where it could flop, but I could also see where if it gets decent watch time at all. Like if CBS Sports is looking at they'll obviously be looking at what's performing.
Well, sure, yeah.
And if they're like, well, hey, this performed better than when we had cornhole on 2 weeks ago or darts,
Let's
like
fingers crossed we can beat cornhole.
But like if it outperforms something like that, I think that's where it's bigger for the sport.
True.
Not as much the drawing new eyes because, like you said, we're not getting a primetime slot. We're not getting a time where people are just surfing through the TV like, what the heck should I watch right now? We're not getting that.
I suppose as long as it's good enough that TV networks are like, that would be worth trying again.
Yeah.
As long as they're like, well, we're not doing that again, then that's where the issue comes in.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good things is that it's post-produced.
Yeah, so it'll look our
Jomez.
best.
Yeah.
It's the best we have to offer.
We're putting our absolute best foot forward. Because I think the one thing that's always scared me about if we ever went to like ESPN or something like that and we did live is who is commentating. And because then you have a live commentator. If it's someone who is like a professional commentator, they don't know anything about disc golf.
Yeah, the thing is, if it's a professional, you just hope they're good enough that they like learn the sport
beforehand.
Yeah, because disc golf, as long as you know the terms, you can at least do a satisfactory job, I feel like.
Yeah.
It becomes an issue when you miss, like, instead of saying hyzer, you say something else. Or, like, you don't know what a hyzer flip. Like, that's where the issue comes into play. But my biggest thing with it being on CBS Sports and, like, with the whole Jomez crossover is, are we going to see just, like, a typical Jomez format on CBS? I don't think so. I think we're going to see CBS logos overlaid. Yeah. We're going to see a whole new... That's what I'm excited about. And I want to know, like, just the whole flow of things. Is it going to, like, change the way disc golf events are produced after they see it if it's done well?
I think it's going to be tough. I think the biggest change that's like us disc golf fans are going to see, other than the graphics, because I think Jomez will probably still have like their follow flight and stuff like that in there.
Well, they're going to have, I guess they'll probably have a whole new setup for this season, right? Like, are they going to do a new graphic package?
I'm sure they probably will. That's exciting.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
that. But I think, like you said, there'll be CBS logos over it. You probably won't see Jomez's logo on there. It might be at the end, like
Curtis. Very small text.
Yeah, like coverage provided by Jomez.
Yeah.
But I think what's going to be interesting is the Nate Sexton, Jeremy Colleen commentary. Because it plays well to a disc golf audience right now. They have a little bit of humor tied in. They don't take it, not they don't take it seriously, but they don't, like, it's what we want out of disc golf commentary currently.
As good as we can get.
Yeah, like there's not, I don't want to sound like there's a better commentator out there. There's not right now.
No.
But I think putting it on Jomez on YouTube to only a disc golf audience and putting it on CBS Sports.
Very different.
Two different animals. So I'm very interested to see if Nate Sexton and Germ change up their commentating style.
Mm-hmm. Try to be a little more relatable to a broad audience.
And more professional.
Yeah.
Where we're not
as laid back. Yeah.
We're not joking about like, I don't know. There's just different stuff where it's great if you're a disc golf fan, like the why are trees, the like naming the types of trees. When I remember there's times where Sexton will be like roller, ground, tree, parked.
Yeah, like they go on tangents too. Yeah. I bet they'll clean it up because they're gonna feel it a little bit like, all right, this is for CBS. Like we got to be, Jim Nantz out here.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm excited for that side.
Yeah.
I'm also curious if they'll like have field reporter Like, is Terry going to be popping in there? Like, I'm live out here on hole 18 as Paul and the group.
About Terry. All right. We love Terry around here, but the dude was looking rough.
the sun was getting to Terry out there during the live stream.
Murdered Terry.
Yeah. I think Brody might have said it. Someone said it recently talking about Terry's role in the live broadcast. And he basically was saying they're using him wrong, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Right now, what kind of happens with the live coverage is they're like, let's throw it to Terry. And Terry kind of recaps what we just saw. And he might give you a little bit of insight, but there's not a lot of like, and then it just kind of jumps to Terry and Terry throws it right back.
We need him with the card, like commenting on the shot like they do in ball golf. They have like guys that are, and girls actually, that are positioned like, on holes, and you kind of hear them whispering in the camera because they're there and they're giving you a more detailed description of what's happening.
Exactly.
Because they're right there. I think that's a good role for him.
Even like more detail. He provides some detail into like the card dynamic and stuff like that. I think detail into like you said, when he's teeing off and you like, let's start to Terry to see what's going on or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's Terry while they're teeing off or whatever, and he's telling you like, oh, it looks like Paul's picking his force here. He's been really struggling with grip, so I saw him use his chalk bag like a lot right before this throw. It's going to be interesting to see if that's something that comes into play.
Yeah.
He went a step more stable than I saw him go yesterday, so this wind is definitely like stuff like that.
Stuff we can't see necessarily
exactly.
on camera.
Stuff that you would never pick up, but since Terry's out there with them, he can be looking at whatever, disc choice, shot selection, and know the players, because I think that's the thing missing somewhat is good commentators will be able to like give you that extra insight. Whereas a lot of, I think Nate and Jerem do a great job as that. A lot of players though, when they do commentary right now, they're just giving you a shot by shot. Like, I picked my flippy destroyer here, and you just want to throw it in the middle of the fairway. Oh, I did that. Okay, and here's Paul. Oh wow, he didn't mess up. Paul never messes up. Like, that's the commentary we have.
There's no doubt it's been lacking.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that like no commentary footage and coverage was like popular for a while, because a lot of people just didn't even want to bother with it. And it's been true. I mean, there's been some commentary over the years that's pretty unbearable. I'm not going to name any names, but there's been some rough ones. But yeah, Joe Mez and Nate and Jerem do a solid job.
They do, they do about as good as you can. But I'm still under it as disc golf progresses, because I think this is kind of a taste of the future of disc golf. I think I've said this for a while, but I don't think post-produced coverage will exist in the future. There's no
a long ways, but yeah.
Is it a long ways though? Because I think that's what the disc golf network, I think, is that step. I think that's the start.
Yeah, but it's only because of maybe for like Joe Mez, who only goes to the biggest events, but they'll still be smaller events.
Oh, yeah.
Like guys like Central Coast will still be around. But I agree for like the big ones, live only with the paywall.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Because I'm sure there's shot-by-shot coverage of like golf rounds you can find online. But if you're going to the masses and you're going to watch Worlds, or you're going to watch USDGC or any Pro Tour, National Tour, to me, I don't think the model to grow the sport is to have post-produced, because I think post-produced, I don't know, there's just something about sports that needs to be live.
Yeah, I agree. Post-produced, I think, is nice because you can where our sport kind of in its infancy, at least where it was a few years ago, it was easy to stumble upon on YouTube. That's where the post, but we have so much backed up that if you're just going to stumble upon disc golf, there's plenty there.
Yeah.
For the new stuff, I think live coverage is getting better. It's Pro Tour's starting to figure it out. There's still some kinks in it, and a lot of that I'm sure is budget constrictions, but they're figuring it out. And it's pretty good. So I would like to see live coverage really come to the forefront the next few years.
Yeah. To me, I just think this tournament, and it stepped on a lot of people's toes. People were not happy about not having their next day coverage and stuff like that. But I just think this is the future.
It's so much more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, towards the end of that round, Paul takes a couple bad holes and then kind of has to pull it back together. Like, we're kind of on the edge of our seat a little bit watching. Yeah. Like, it's way more interesting. And I remember the first time I think I'd ever even watched live disc golf coverage was the Paul Ricky playoff way back in Worlds. That was live. I don't even remember who was broadcasting that, to be honest. It might have been...
Smashbox?
It may have been
before then.
Smashbox. It might have been just like Terry Miller, like doing just like a YouTube live. Like I don't even know if it was like meant to be like live coverage. It was just like let's put
Someone
this-
was live.
Yeah, someone was live, and like I just remember how thrilling that was.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
I think that's the thing is people right now are. It's weird because right now with the state of coverage is like companies get like as a disc golf company or a news outlet, you can't post about the winner.
Yeah.
The day it happens. If you do, it's going to be like, or you have to put a spoiler card in front.
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic.
Yeah, and because people want to wait so that they can experience it live. Pretty much.
I've never been able to do that.
And no, not at all. I watch UDisc live
Yeah.
to keep up with the thrill of watching live sports because there's something about it where it sounds bad, but it's one of the things, to me at least, if I don't watch it live, I don't care to watch it.
Yeah, it's tough, especially like I mean, if something crazy happens, like if I know, okay, Paul just shot 18 down, well, yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch that. But if nothing really great happened, like, yeah, I'm not gonna be really incentivized to go watch that coverage.
Exactly, and that's the thing too is
live. You just sign up and then you're there for whatever happens.
If live, you're watching it.
Yeah,
and so I think that's also something about growing the sport is like right now, like what you just said. If I watch UDisc and I'm like, oh, everyone just kind of played mediocre and page won by 15. I'm not watching that coverage.
Yeah,
like no
exactly.
no part of me right now wants to go back and watch the Dynamic Disc Open FPO coverage because I know. I mean, maybe to watch page, but I think the future of the sport is you can watch it live, so you don't know what's going to happen. You're watching it live as it happens, and then if someone does something crazy, there's the cut up version. So there is the Paige just shot 10 down or whatever she shot. Here's every shot Paige just threw that round.
Yeah, highlights.
Exactly.
It needs to be highlights.
Yeah, or like when Paul shoots 18 under, it's just Paul's round for the 18 hole.
PGA Tour does a good job of that now where they'll, and all the players that shoot well during a certain round, they'll post on YouTube and just be like, just a little, highlight reel from their 7 under 64 to open up the round or open up the tournament. And that's, I think, what needs to happen because that would be great.
Yeah, because I think that's the direction it needs to head. And I think one thing that's tough about disc golf and the culture in general is we all want to change the sport. We all want to grow the sport.
Yeah.
But the things that happen that grow the sport, everyone hates.
Yeah.
Which makes no sense to me right now. Because it's so frustrating to sit here and watch it and be like, oh, this is like the Disc Golf Network behind a paywall. Obviously, people aren't going to like that. But this is a step that, in my opinion, needs to happen to grow the sport because it's outside money. It's something that disc golf doesn't have right now. It's outside money coming in. You get a good product. You're paying, like if you're a PGA member, you're paying like $5 a month to watch, even if it's just one tournament
That's
a month.
like ESPN Plus, same price, I think.
If you're watching one tournament a month, you're watching hours of disc golf coverage, plus you get exclusive podcasts, exclusive content, post-produced shows, like all kinds of stuff. And at the same time, you're helping support the Disc Golf Pro Tour and helping them provide us with this coverage and stuff.
Yeah, the sport is way too young for everybody to be so scared of radical change. I mean, there's like really old sports, like baseball, for example. Anytime a rule change comes up in there, people freak out. But it's been around for like over 100 years, so sure. But disc golf is so new that when radical change comes about, everybody needs to just jump on board and just be ready to see if it works.
Yeah.
And we also need to like not be so scared of losing our identity aside from ball golf that we don't take some of their, success that they've had and use it because it works. I mean, it's a pretty similar sport in most respects, and they obviously have propelled themselves over a long time. Yeah. To a very big stage with lots of money. So disc golf needs to just not be scared to it, I don't know, just go for it.
Yeah, that's one thing that really annoys me too is whenever the mention of like ball golf and like following in the footsteps of ball golf comes up.
Yeah, people all start cringing.
People lose their mind. I'm like, what is so, like, we're not talking about we are going to turn to a country club sport. Like, I think there's some parts of golf that we're never going to be that. Yeah. We're never going to have country clubs and you got to pay hundreds of dollars to play around at this prestigious course. Yeah. But pay-to-play courses will exist. Sure. And that'll be part of the future of disc golf, but it'll be $5-10, something like that. Because the nature of golf versus disc golf's a much cheaper sport in general. Yeah.
Courses are so cheaper to maintain.
Yeah, to maintain courses, we don't have to cut the greens to this level, keep the sand looking good, the fairways this level, you just go mow the grass.
Yeah.
If the grass is a
Clear
brush, high,
like,
yeah,
not hard.
You could probably honestly a 1 to 2 man team could clear the course
easily
and keep the course up.
Yeah.
That's not a thing in ball golf.
No.
So that's why prices have to be higher.
Sure.
So we're never talking about that. But I think some of the things do need to be implemented in disc golf. Like dress code, I think is a big one. We have a dress code.
It needs to be strict.
But it needs to be, if you're on, and to me, this is a Pro Tour thing. The PDGA,
whatever.
I think the PDGA needs to take a step back and, like you were saying, follow golf of, okay, we're going to have, we can be the sanctioning body and stuff like that.
They can have their worlds.
Yeah.
And then they just need to be the sanctioning body.
And we'll be the governing, we make the rules, and the Pro Tour is the Pro Tour. Yeah. Like it is the PGA Tour.
We have to have all our eggs in one basket right now.
Yeah.
The players need to get behind a tour, all of them, and they need to just work together to make it the best product that it can be.
Yeah.
And that's just the bottom line. But you're saying about the dress code thing, I agree. I think on the Pro Tour, it's like A tiers right now. It has to be like
a dry fit material.
A dry fit material, which is like, it's pretty loose.
Yeah.
I think we've got to all be wearing collared shirts at this point.
Agree.
We've got to all be wearing collared shirts. We got to look professional.
And that's where I think it's the Pro Tour, because local A tiers.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. Yeah, it's not that big.
And I know a Pro Tour is technically A tier
right now.
We're on
CBS Sports though. Let's wear collared shirts. Let's look like we are professional athletes.
And I think that should be the standard regardless, because you never know when Nike or Under Armour is watching and what they're watching. They could be going on right now to the Preserve Championship that's coming up and be looking at the Disc Golf Network coverage and being like, let's just see, hey, CBS Sports just picked this up let's just see what are we looking at here.
Opportunities are there. And there's no secret that guys like Paul are marketable when they're dressing like pro athletes, when they go to every single
event. And when they're
event.
handling themselves like pro athletes.
Yeah, you just have to try a little bit.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
And I think the live coverage this time felt great. Like there was first off, they had the like Pro Tour backdrop for like player interviews.
That was cool.
They cut to that a lot. They had a lot more storylines you could follow. Like I was impressed 10 times more than I've ever been with live coverage of this event.
I was impressed with the players in their interviews. I thought they sounded pretty good.
Yeah.
Disc golf's come a long way. I mean, if you guys remember like early disc golf videos like in the bags, I mean, even guys like Paul who are like very professional now were pretty shaky in front of camera. Like it's pretty comical if you go way back. But all of them sounded, pretty solid. Yeah. So
and I think stuff like that, like stuff like the dress code, stuff like the way they present themselves.
It's the little things.
Stuff like that is where we need to follow golf.
Yeah.
And because the fact of the matter is we're always going to be a like grassroots type of sport. We're going to eventually get big.
Yeah.
But probably in my lifetime will never be a mainstream sport. Like that's just not realistic to think. Yeah. I think we'll have live coverage on, ESPN and stuff like that eventually in my lifetime, because I think that disc golf's growing too fast not to. But you also have to think of the time bracket it falls into. There's a lot of other mainstream sports happening all throughout the season.
Well, sure.
The good thing is disc golf runs for so long that when you hit that, like what we're in right now, July to August range, there's not a lot on TV. Yeah. Even when all sports are going on right now, it's kind of a dead spot.
Yeah.
So I could see it being picked up in that time frame. But when we're talking about like following golf, I mean, they're clearly doing some things right.
Sure.
And so to me, when we say we need to like follow golf and do a lot what golf does, we can pick and choose.
Yeah.
We're not, some people always say like, I hate the disc golf even uses the term golf because we're such a different sport. We're playing by the same rules.
Yeah, we're not that different.
We're literally golf, but you play with a disc. Like that's disc golf. That's the whole point of it. So why are we so scared of acting like golfers? Like why is that such a bad ideology?
Yeah, I agree.
It's just that's something that ticks me off because I pulled up some of the PGA winnings because I think
this is a whole other problem.
Well, I think this is also like when we talk about we need to follow golf, if golf can get to a spot where this is the PGA Championship 2018, so I'm going back a few years.
Yeah.
Golf payouts have went up.
Sure.
PGA Championship 2018, Brooks Koepka takes home $1.98 million for winning.
Yeah.
Are some of the best players in disc golf, period, career earnings aren't even touching $1 million. Heck,
No.
I don't even think they're touching $500,000.
No, Paul's just under 500K.
And that's career earnings.
Yeah.
The golfers are doing this in one tournament. Now, where does that outside money come from? That's what we have to start looking at.
It comes from TV deals.
Yeah.
And it comes from the sponsors of the tournament that they're plastering
Exactly.
everywhere. It just if your product is gonna draw audience, then it's gonna draw money. That's
Exactly.
It's very directly correlated.
Yeah. So that's where, to me, obviously golf has figured this out.
Sure. Yeah.
Obviously. So now, from disc golfers, what we as a fan base and what we as like the top guys making these decisions need to look at is, what did they figure out to get to where the total purse was $11 million at a 2018 tournament?
Yeah.
Our total purses are like 40,000.
Yeah, and we've had over 100K purses.
Yeah. Ledgestone and majors.
Yeah.
But this is just
Not a ton, though.
I mean, we're talking like some normal PGA tournaments are still looking at millions, and we're talking about 70th place is still taking home $20,000. Like, what? Obviously, they're doing something right.
Yeah.
So we have to follow what they're doing right, and I think that's where the key comes in of what makes golf attractive to sponsors.
Yeah.
And that's where it's how the players carry themselves. It's the collared shirts. It's everything about them. And I think one of the biggest things holding disc golf back is the fact that we want to keep this grassroots type hippie feel.
They're too scared of losing it.
Yeah.
But that type of feel is never gonna get you anywhere.
Exactly. If you want to grow the sport,
Yeah.
then we can't do what we always did.
Mm-hmm.
If we like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is literally the definition of insanity, and
Yeah.
that's what disc golfers are stuck with. Is like,
Yeah.
let's grow the sport. We want to get mainstream media, but don't you dare tell me to put a collar on my shirt when I play a course.
Yeah.
Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Because you're not getting both, right?
Very true.
Obviously, just the college shirt isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But it's the whole premise behind it.
Mm-hmm.
The whole premise behind the way we present ourselves, the way our courses look, if I don't know. Because even like in golf, they were up for a while. You could like smoke on the course and stuff, right? At tournaments.
Yeah.
And so there were players that would be out there tearing it up and smoking cigarettes, and so the TV wouldn't give them that much coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're winning a tournament and you're smoking, they're like, okay, well, we're not going to put that on TV. What do you think they think of disc golfers? If they're like, okay, well, let's check out this disc golf thing. You know what? Why don't we first just head out to our local course?
Yeah.
Let's just walk out to our local course.
Let me tell you
real
how
fast.
many tournaments I've played where my card mates have been either high or wasted. It's too many.
And I'm sure if you go far enough down in golf, you'll get there. Like I'm sure if you go down
In a competitive tournament in ball golf, I mean, yeah, but not as much. I mean,
once you get to like a certain level.
I mean, yeah, there's always going to be that in casual ball golf, but like in competitive ball golf, I feel like the sport is so hard that like if you're playing competitively, you're trying pretty hard, and therefore you're not trying to make yourself worse. I don't know.
I think another I don't know how we got to this tangent, but we did. But I think another big thing is, and we talked about this yesterday, the breakdown of the payout when we look at golf versus the breakdown of the payout when we look at disc golf.
It's shocking.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
So Paul, I'm gonna pull up the DDO real fast.
Paul made $4,000, which is already kind of sad. This is a pro tour event, and we're this far in the sport, and Paul Macbeth is winning and only winning $4,000.
Yeah,
it stinks.
To me, the thing I don't get is, and I know this is all about outside money, and I think that's where the whole key of following golf to a certain degree is we have to figure out how to get that outside money. But yeah, if you look at it,
the amount isn't the problem; it's the drop.
Yeah. So if we look at Last Cash, 39th place at this event out of 98 people, so pretty close to 40%. Okay.
Yeah.
Last Cash got there was a 4-way tie, so I don't know how far down it would have went, but they all got $178.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the issue starts there.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, it's weird because when you look at ball golf, that thing I just had pulled up, the total purse was 11 million.
Yeah.
And last place was getting 19,000 of it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the math really fast. But yesterday when we were doing the math at the top, it was basically that disc golfers were percentage wise getting paid
way
like
more,
10 to 15% more
of the purse
than ball golfers were. So basically, ball golf, the drop would be from like 3 million down to 1 million.
Yeah.
And disc golf, the drop would be from $4,000 to
It
$3,000.
was $4,000 to $3,000. Second place was Calvin Heimberger, and he made $3,000, only $1,000 less than Paul. Which $1,000 is a lot of money when the person only $4,000. But if you look at the percentages between like what ball golf is doing, I think it's too much. I think that you really should be making probably 50%, around 50% of what first place makes.
Yeah. So in ball golf, I just did the math on this. I think I did the math right because this is a shockingly low number, but I think it's right. Last Cash got 0.17% of the total purse.
Okay.
So disc golf, for some reason, I could be way off here, but I think the purse for the DDO was $40,000.
I think it was around $40,000.
So we're gonna go 178.
It's close enough. You're gonna get.
I'm
the
doing
idea.
some live math, so we
Yeah.
might look like absolute fools when I hit this equals button.
I mean, we're gonna get the right idea. I think.
Okay, so they're getting 0.5%.
Yeah, a lot more.
So we went from 0.1 to 0.5. So we're talking incremental things like that. But if you start taking that away, so you start 178, we're cutting that down to 100, 385 for 35th place, we're cutting that down to 350, whatever. And all of this is just going to the top 3 or 4 players. It's just going up. So now we're looking at Paul getting $5-6 grand, second place still getting like $3 grand, and stuff like that.
I want to see it. I mean,
I
feel like maybe disc golf gets scared that like all these players right now are trying to just survive on tour, and maybe they're thinking, well, we got to spread the money so these guys can afford to do this. But
that's the wrong idea.
I think it's the wrong idea. I think you got to make it cutthroat.
If you're coming in 39th place week in and week out,
you shouldn't be
touring.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. If you're getting $178, you're not living on that anyways.
Yeah.
There's no way.
There's a lot of disc golf talent, and like let's make guys. That's the thing too. Like I want to see more guys that like are very much dedicated to training and practicing, and like I want it to be so cutthroat that you got to be constantly getting better to cash and make good money.
Yeah,
like
that's
the
what
top
I'm
guys
saying.
should make good money.
If I'm an athlete, all right, let's say I'm an athletic guy, because obviously I think disc golfers. Obviously, I'm saying let's say.
Hey, this guy's a freak athlete.
But disc golfers, like right now, if I'm super athletic and I love disc golf, I'm not even looking at this as a career, because why would I waste my athleticism and talent on a sport where, you know, if I work as hard as I can and I don't have a sponsor yet, I'm gonna make $4,000 winning that. Whereas as a freak athlete, I can go play professional, whatever else I'm good at, and I can come in 70th place and get 20 grand.
Yeah.
Like what's attractive? And then also if I'm, you know, coming in 5th place right now, if I'm Noah Miensma and I'm getting $1,600, what is that like? Am I really going to put in as much work as it would take to topple Paul Macbeth for a $2,400 pay increase?
When considering how hard that is,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
probably
what I'm
not.
saying. Where is the driving factor for me if I was Chris Dickerson, if I was Grady Shue, you know, these players that are well known on tour, Yuli? Where is my driving factor other than just my competitive spirit to beat Paul?
Yeah.
Because like, what if I'm like, well, you know, if I can come in 5th place every weekend,
do all right.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. And if to work as hard as it would take me to work to topple Paul, I'm not really seeing that big of an increase. There's no return on that investment other than maybe the sponsors will pick me up more. Because that's the thing is, in ball golf, I can look at it and I can be like, if I don't touch a sponsorship and I'm a great golfer, I'm making millions.
Yeah.
In disc golf, if I don't touch a sponsorship, let's just look at Paul's career earnings last year. If Paul had 0 sponsorship,
I mean, he makes 6 figures usually in earnings.
So 2019, you ready for this? 2019, Paul had a rather great year.
Did he make what, 300 grand or something?
$57,000 off of earnings.
That was it?
That's it. 2018.
I think he made 6 figures once.
Maybe once.
That 1 year.
2015. The greatest year of all time.
Yeah.
Okay. If he's living on just tournament earnings, $72,000.
That was it.
That's
I
it.
could have sworn there was more.
$72,000.
Oh, that's bad.
So that's what I'm saying is, why am I if I'm an athlete or if I'm a disc golfer and I'm working my tail off?
Yeah.
What about knowing when I have the greatest year of all time, period, I'm making $72,000 off of prize money.
You know what I need to do, and I might try this later, is go through like that year, for example, and give him a percentage of the pot or of the purse that reflects what the PGA does for every single win he had, and see how much his earnings could have been if he was getting more fair allotments of the purse.
So I think that's a big thing, is to make some bigger jumps in the sport, it doesn't necessarily require outside money. It requires a redistribution of the purse.
Yeah.
Because I think, and I think it could also require, I think there's a lot of stuff that could happen where we're at now that could push players to push the top.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like we got to have the type of players that want that. Because right now, Paul's been so dominant, and like there's been a couple guys that are so dominant that like people were gonna hate that idea. But guess what? Like you got to get better. Somebody's got to go beat Paul McBeth. Like somebody's got to do it.
And there's players that are there. Like Ricky has proven he can be there before Limes.
Yeah.
Or Lime. Eagle has proven
at the end of the day, Calvin Heimberg lost by 1 stroke.
Yeah, Heimberg. The issue with Heimberg is the dude doesn't really want to be on tour from what it looks like.
Calvin Heimberg, I'm becoming his biggest fan. I don't know if you guys watch that coverage, but he's walking around with that Napoleon Dynamite afro. He had those awesome shades on, like the Patrick Mahomes shades. And he just acts like he doesn't care, and he throws bombs, and he's really good.
He is filthy.
He's so sick.
Like he could easily be.
He wears like running shoes. Like Calvin Heimberg's the man.
But he's just a hard player to market.
Yeah, I don't know though. After I saw him pull out those shades, I feel like there's something there. He could be. He might be electric. Calvin Heimberg, he might just need to come out of his shell a bit, because that was something else.
No, but to me, like if I'm a player and I'm coming up, even if I'm a Calvin Heimberg type player, if I'm someone who I know, hey, if I put my mind to this, I could be the next great player.
Yeah.
If I'm also crazy good at something else, if I'm also a genius or something, and I could go get a job making 6 figures a year, like I would almost rather do that at the current state of disc golf.
Yeah, it's almost like even the U.S. soccer argument, where like people come after us for not having a good soccer team. It's like, well, our best athletes are playing basketball, football, baseball, even hockey. Like our best athletes aren't playing soccer. That's why we're not there. It's almost like that kind of thing where we need better athletes in the sport. It needs to be more attractive to athletes.
And I think the thing that attracts is going to be a few different things. I think one is redistribution of the purse. So not more money in, but more money into the top.
Yeah.
Because it's going to hurt the players who are like you said, grinding it out to be on tour.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt them. I get that. But at the same time, what's the cost of keeping them living? Or not living. That sounds horrible. What is the cost of what we're losing by allowing, if you're the 40th or 50th best player in the world, to be touring right now?
Nobody's going to see them anyways, because we can only film like 1 or 2 cards.
Exactly. Like our coverage and everything, like everyone's looking at the top 8 guys.
Yeah.
Top 10 guys. And if you can get in those top 10, then you have some negotiating power with sponsors. Mm-hmm. What does someone who's coming in 50th place every week, week in and week out, A, how are they even surviving on tour in the current state? It's
not easy.
Brain teaser to me. B, what are they worth to a company? Like if I'm Discraft or Innova or Prodigy, what is that player that's coming in 50th, unless they have a big social media following or something they can bring me, why would I pay them a salary like I'm paying a top player?
Yeah, honestly, we ought to do like a character study on this, and like you and I should try and go on tour with like we'll start with like a couple $100. You and I go on tour and we play open, and we try and like hand pick things we think we can cash in and see how long we can like live.
Oh gosh, that sounds horrible.
We gotta pay. We'll take Paul's RV so we don't have to pay for a hotel.
No, we got to grind it out like that. Like
yeah, we're sharing hotel rooms with like 6 guys.
Yeah, well, that's what's going on right now. Is you get an Airbnb with 15 people. You're looking at $20 a night. It's really easy.
I'm going bankrupt after two days.
I'll make it to one tournament, and then I probably don't have gas money to come back home.
Yeah, I'm stranded.
But like to me, what are we costing the future of the sport by
letting the guys hang around?
Yeah. So then I think if we can adopt that mentality of, okay, let's push the top of the sport.
Yeah.
Let's push our most marketable, like let's get players into the spotlight. Then I think if we accept that by cutting the purse, then I think the second thing we can accept is tour cards. Yeah. Because I think that's another thing that will attract athletes to the sport and also push the player that's in 50th right now, that's trying to grind it out on tour.
Yeah.
hey, if you don't step your game up, you might not be able to play Pro Tour next year.
Yeah,
You
I
might
want
have
to
to
see
be-
a qualifying system for
Yeah.
sure.
And so to me, we already have it in place.
Yeah.
Which the Pro Tour seems like they're trying to get it in place with the
I
Silver
think so.
Series.
Yeah.
To me, pour all your money and time into the actual Pro Tour, and the PDGA needs to just humble themselves a little bit. The National Tour becomes a qualifying tour.
Mm-hmm.
Pro Tour players can play it, but
Yeah.
there's not going to be a point to. But if you play good enough on the National Tour, you then
The
get...
National Tour has some really good events too. They need to hand over,
Yeah.
which is
Eh,
going to
we
be tough for them to do.
We can negotiate all of that out, but have the top tour be the Pro Tour. I think that everyone can be in agreement with that. And then the National Tour is your qualifying tour. And at the end of the year, based on the points, you have 10 players from the National Tour get tour cards. Bottom 10 players or whatever it is from the Pro Tour
Lose them.
lose them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then if you're at the bottom, you have fire under your butt now because I better not be in the bottom, whatever. If you're an outside sponsor looking in, these are the players you want to sponsor because they have their tour cards. So if I'm Prodigy, Innova, anyone like that, inside sponsors even, if I'm looking at players, I'm like, okay, this guy has his tour card.
Yeah.
Well, now, because right now it's like 1,000 rated. It's like the golden, it's getting closer to 1010, 1015.
Yeah.
It's like the golden thing. Is this player 10,
If you're
15
1,000
rated?
rated, then you are like a good pro worth sponsoring.
Yeah. And that's so stupid to me because if you
Ratings are
cherry
dumb.
pick events
Yeah.
and you pick only events that are on courses you like and you know you can tear up and only events that bigger players are going to be at,
Yeah.
you could get 1,000. If you're a good player, you can get 1,000 rated pretty easy.
I think all of us have seen, if you've played enough tournaments, you've seen guys that are 970 rated that are insane,
yeah.
and guys that are like close to 1,000 rated that are not that good.
And the difference is a 970 rated player is just playing every tournament he can find.
Exactly.
And he's tearing up when he plays his local courses, but then when he goes plays a different course, he might not. And then the guy that's just 1,000 cherry picked 12 tournaments that, hey,
Yeah.
these are the 12 I can tear up at. I'm gonna get my 1,000 rating. And to me, that's why ratings need to just go out the window when looking at sponsored players. And I think the tour card could be a great indicator because you have to perform consistently on the national tour first to even be accepted into the pro tour.
Yeah, it's like the handicap system in ball golf. There's a reason that you don't talk about touring pros handicaps. They're just scratched once you get to a certain point.
Yeah.
Like for amateur players, it's kind of relevant, even though it is super cherry picked. You can play easier courses and have, super inflated handicaps. But yeah, once you get to that point, I mean, yeah, there's like plus handicaps, but nobody really talks about that. You're not talking about Tiger Woods handicap. He's a scratch golfer.
Yeah.
And that's what it needs to get to, I think.
Yeah. And I think the ratings idea was good when it started,
Well, sure.
but I think we're getting to a point in our sport where ratings are almost going to start doing more harm than good.
Yeah, they're just confusing, I think.
Yeah.
For new players especially, I don't know what a rating is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't know. To me, we're at the point in our sport where we redistribute the purse, we create tour cards, and the players that are out there making money they need to start making money. Like that, if I'm an outside athlete looking at, I love disc golf, and I'm like, man, should I do this or should I go become a 9-to-5 engineer or whatever? What are my options here? Disc golf's gonna look a lot better if you're like, hey, if I can just finish in the top 10, even if I don't get a sponsorship up front, if I can finish in the top 10, I can make a comfortable living until the sponsorship deals roll in.
Yeah.
That's going to look a lot better to outside players than right now. It's like, I mean, if I'm coming in like 30th here and there, I'm only going to get in like $100 bucks. Like this isn't, if I'm not, basically one top 10 finish needs to be like, okay, if I can do one top 10 finish a month, I can live.
Yeah. There's a certain allure to the idea that all I have to do is get good at this and I can make the money.
Yeah.
I don't need to attract any sponsors. If I can play well enough, I can make money, and that will attract competitors.
Exactly. And I think it's not what the sport's missing because we have some.
Yeah. It needs more, a lot more.
And once more come in, then players who are right on that bubble that have the talent, but just
aren't trying.
They're on cruise control right now.
Yeah.
That ignites the fire in them. And then we see the top of the sport just explode
Yeah.
to where Paul would probably still be dominant,
Sure.
but he'd be pushed. So now Paul's not going to be dominant at 1067 anymore.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot more than that to win tournaments because now the players, players 8 through 20 are grinding their faces off to push to that top 10.
Yeah.
And so then therefore players, 7 and up are like, well, I don't want to lose my spot here. I need to grind.
Really, I mean, yeah, what I want for this sport is just as many good players as possible. Just so much parity that, like, there's just a crop of talented young players who are super athletic and just have potential to be insane. Like, that's what I want, just all of them.
Yeah. And I think that the sport itself needs to change a little bit to get that coming.
I agree.
But speaking of Paul and just the DDO in general, we'll talk a little bit about. There's a few storylines on the MPO side. Sure. First off, Paul came out the gates hot, like real hot. I think he went 1084, 1083 his first 2 rounds.
Clearly not any rust there.
Yeah. So I mean, when we were watching this, because I watched at least the last 2 rounds live. I think the first 2 rounds I just watched on UDisc.
Yeah.
But when we were watching this, I was sitting there thinking, this is done. It's a runaway. Like, I thought the men and women were going to be the same. Like, I thought Paul's going to win by 10, Paige's going to win by 10. You know, just a normal weekend.
It definitely looked like that for a while.
But then Sunday rolled around.
I think that's interesting.
Yeah. And
on about 2 to 3 hole stretch.
Yeah, the Kansas wind picked up. And so Paul came out the gates. He was still looking good, feeling good.
Yeah, a little bit slower pace, but he was still kind of, just coasting.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all he needed to do.
Let me pull up his round here. Yeah, he came out birdie.
Yeah.
Round, and then he just went par, picked up another birdie on 6. So he's 3 down through 6.
Yeah, just fine.
He had said the day before, if I shoot 4 down, I'm winning.
Yeah.
Which was a very valid statement.
Sure.
Then we get to hole 8. He takes an 8 on hole 8.
It was a blow up.
Yeah. And that is when things really started to get interesting. At that point, we had, I think, Emerson was right up there. That might have put him within like 2 strokes or something like that. Yeah. It was getting there because Paul went 8-5-4, so triple bogey, bogey.
Yeah.
8, 9, 10, and Emerson went birdie, par. So Emerson picked up
He
4,
down to 1 stroke.
5, 6 strokes in 3 holes on Paul. 7 strokes if you include hole 7 in there.
That's crazy.
So he picked up a lot fast. So out of nowhere, we got ourselves a ball game, and Ricky was still within striking distance, and then we had Calvin just lighting it up.
Yeah,
coming up from the back.
What a round in the wind. 10 down, did he finish
10 down.
Incredible.
So we're watching this, and it's getting a little scary.
It's a chase card effect, though.
Hole 10, you don't know also if the lead card's looking at Calvin's score.
Exactly. That's the thing about being on the chase card. You have a lot less pressure on you. You're kind of just like, well, let's go out and shoot the best I can, which is why chase card live coverage is like, it needs to be a thing.
Yeah. Which they did a decent job jumping back and forth, but there needs to be, like, honestly, there should have been the lead card camera and coverage, and then a full team on chase card. So it's like, at least you can cut back and be like, and here's what happened a second ago with Calvin Heimberg on hole 8. Yeah. Paul just took an 8. Here's Calvin. He just took a 4 on this. He just
golf is unpredictable. Like, when things tighten up, we got to know what's happening for the entertainment value.
And I think that's something with live coverage that could go a long way. But Calvin just starts shredding. And it was really a nail biter until 16 to me. Yeah. 16 if you didn't watch the coverage or you don't know the country club, 16 is an island hole.
And it's a beast of an island hole. We're talking very small landing area on the water, obviously, so there's a lot of wind. There's a tree right off the tee to your right that you kind of have to avoid. And there's the wall in the back now, but this is a hard shot with pressure on.
Huge wind.
Yeah, such a hard shot.
Crazy wind.
And Paul steps up and throws that flip-up Undertaker, lands it on the front of the island, like, such a sick shot.
Basically, he had all the cards were in his hand because all he had to do was get on the island.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't need to birdie it. He just needed to get on the island. And at the end of the day, he actually kind of did need to birdie it. But at that time, we weren't looking at that.
Well, because we were thinking about Emerson at this point. We were like, Tim versus Emerson, and he nails
Calvin, I think, had just birdied 16 when Paul had stepped up, so he was still a few out of it. Yeah. I think he was still back like 3 at that point. Yeah, because
I think he birdied 17 and 18.
Yeah, so Emerson was still the one that was like, if Paul blows up and Emerson parks this.
Yeah, we got ourselves going here, yeah.
So, but as soon as Paul put it close and Emerson threw OB.
That was kind of a wrap.
Ricky,
in our minds.
Ricky threw this like wild hyzer type thing, came in on the backside. Everyone knows it's OB, and it found this like little patch of grass that stuck somehow. Stuck. He didn't even know. He walked up to the drop zone ready to throw, and then people were like, you're on the island. He's like, what?
I've been there. That's kind of a weird one. Like, I don't even trust my game enough to think I was on.
Well, I mean, in the camera, it was hard to tell. I can't imagine on the tee. There's no doubt in his mind. Yeah. But so Paul just throws this ice cold shot, puts it close, ends up birdieing 16, which again at the time didn't feel like it was necessary. That felt like it put the nail in everyone's coffin, but It ended up being necessary, but it let him have no pressure going into 17 and 18. He just needed par.
Yeah.
So he went par. Calvin went birdie, but it still didn't matter. Paul shot 1 under. Calvin gained 9 strokes on him.
Incredible round.
Insane. 10 under in that wind. I think it ended up being 10. I'm going to look up his rating right now. I think it was like 1085, which to me is pretty low for what it should have been.
Yeah. That probably should be an 1100
Yeah,
round.
so that was 1083. So it was lower than both of Paul's first 2 rounds.
Sorry.
Which, I mean, Paul went... what did Paul go? Paul went 11 and then 12.
Yeah, but
the wind was a whole different ball game on day 3. But yes, 1083, still a insane round. Yeah. But in 2020, it's just not, or even 2019, like 1083 is becoming. You're seeing that at every tournament.
Yeah. Show me the 1132 and that kind of thing. If we want to really freak out.
Yeah. I don't know, but still, Calvin shoots an insane round, comes back. It was super, and that's another thing about it being live is you could feel the pressure a lot different than if you were watching this post.
Yeah.
And so it was great to watch live. It was pretty insane. Insanely good tournament. Great first one back to kind of like feel out what's left of 2020.
Sure, yeah.
Got everyone kind of excited. You know, going into the round, I was expecting a Paul Ricky like classic battle. Ricky just kind of struggled even right off the gates. He started with a 6, which was a bogey, a par, and then another bogey to come out the gates. Whereas Paul went birdie. So that kind of hindered him to where he wasn't out of it, but it kind of felt like it at times.
Yeah.
He ended up shooting 2 over on the final round there.
Still pretty solid play from Ricky.
Yeah, a lot better than we had seen. I think he's finally
starting to recover,
getting back to normal Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
And the only other storyline during this was, well, not the only other. There's a lot of different little storylines, but the other one I want to bring up was Brody Smith.
Poor guy.
So he comes out the gates first round, pretty hot, 10-18.
Yeah.
No joke.
No, Brody Smith is not a fluke.
Yeah,
he shot 10-18 on a tough course.
Yeah, and that was very impressive in and of itself. The second round, he struggled. His back nine struggled a lot. I think he shot mid 960s, but it was due to his lime was kind of, I don't want to say flaring up. Yeah, he went right at 960.
He's on the Doxy too. Like that's
he said tough. He was crazy burnt by the sun. Which if you haven't been on Doxy before, you're supposed to limit your sun exposure.
Yeah.
Playing in a Kansas wide open course is not
limiting
everybody
was getting roasted out there.
Not limiting your sun exposure at all on that.
Yeah.
So he obviously struggled with that, and then he also just wasn't feeling good. I think he had just pushed it a little too far, and so he finished out the round and then DNF'd. And I saw him getting a lot of hate over DNFing. I'm like, what? What are these people doing?
He's got limes. Like that's no joke.
No, it's
like,
not like
on.
He just like
he didn't like fake an injury or something.
Yeah, it's not like he was just blowing up and decided,
and
screw it. You know what I mean? He was still in like 25th place.
Yeah.
After that, before he DNF'd,
he went into there with no expectations. Like he's just trying to get a tournament under his belt.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was like
To me, what this proved is.
He's no joke.
Yeah, like I think
he's going to beat some good players
this
this year.
His first tournament back that he's 100%, it wouldn't surprise me anymore to see him in the top 10. Going into this tournament, it was like I said like 25 or 20th, and I was still like sitting on my edge like,
no, he's going to beat some good players probably if he can get it together.
I thought 20th was a bold prediction when I said it, or I think 25th. I don't know what I said. I said somewhere in there.
Something like that.
I felt that was a pretty bold prediction. Yeah. Not anymore. I feel like I undershot what he's capable of now. Now that I've seen, because I've played against him, I've seen that he's good, but it's hard when you're just playing against someone to like picture what they're going to do in a tournament.
Yeah.
Now that I've seen it in a tournament with tournament pressure, I think some people are going to be eating their words. Especially the ones who were talking about at the beginning of this year, like, why the heck is this guy sponsored?
Yeah,
First off,
go on
YouTube and try to get 2.2 million subscribers. And to me, that's a bigger feat than anything you can accomplish in disc golf right now. I think it's
as far as influence is concerned.
Well, like difficulty.
Well, yeah.
Like I think the difficulty of grinding out on YouTube to get to 2.2 million is going to take a lot longer than grinding in disc golf to get to the top 10, where you like can have that type of sponsorship.
Apples to oranges, maybe, but
they're two completely different things. But I'm just saying, like,
I get what you're saying.
You can't say the guy doesn't
he's
deserve
valuable in the sport.
Yeah,
he deserves a sponsorship,
and that's what I've talked about here before. Is like, I'm just gonna pick someone's random name. So if I pick your name, I'm sorry. Justin Farrell. If you're Justin Farrell, and he came in 50th, that's why I picked him. If you're Justin Farrell and you're sponsored by Discraft and you come in 50th place, what did you just do for Discraft? Nothing. Nothing.
Sorry.
If you're Brody Smith and you document playing the DDO,
this is where you
and you come in 50th place, what did you just do for Discraft?
You got a lot of views on your YouTube channel.
You just broke their website 4 times, dropping Get Freakies. Like you just did a lot. You probably did more than. I'm picking another random person name.
Oh,
Sorry.
Man. Here we go.
You probably did more than. I don't want to pick someone's name. I know that makes me feel bad. You probably did more than Ezra Adderhold coming in 18th place. Right, as an influencer coming in 50th, you're gonna be worth more to a company because it's almost like a security blanket. Like no matter what this guy finishes, he's gonna be selling plastic for us.
Yeah,
and that's how you have to look at it.
That's what it all comes down to right now for us.
And then I think 6 months from now, people will be like, "Oh, well, yeah, he's a top 10 player. Plus, he's got the influencer.
Yeah,
like,
he's gonna get good."
I just think people need to, and that's another thing. Is like.
People forget that a lot of these good disc golfers come from ultimate backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
Like, I know Nate and Jerem both did, I think.
Yeah.
And like Brody Smith was a good ultimate player.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, an athlete's an athlete.
Yeah.
And when you put them into something athletic and they just focus only on that, they're gonna get good at it. Period. But I think some people need to again embrace change and understand that stuff like Brody Smith getting into the sport and stuff like going to live coverage, pay-per-view coverage, stuff like that might not make sense to you, but it is so good for the sport in the long run that as a disc golf community who is like one of the best communities out there, like you're not going to find nicer people, I feel like, than disc golfers when you're doing what they want you to do. As soon as you try to make some change, they're the first, like so many disc golfers just turn their back on you like, what is this guy doing? Screw you, and they go off on you. Yeah. We need to cut that out of the sport. There's no room to me for that in our sport because we need to, at this point, be like, oh, this guy, he's bringing 2.2 million subscribers. Obviously, not all of them are going to watch his videos. He's bringing this to the sport. What could this do to grow the sport I love? Versus saying, how dare you try to change the sport I love? Yeah. That's, to me, we just need to be a little bit more open-minded as a disc golf community to like, what is the next step that gets us to where I think we all want to be, but I think we just all have our own ideas as how we're going to get there. And I can tell you the way to get there is not to do what we've always done. That's just not going to do it.
Well, sure. Yeah.
So, all right, that's going to wrap it up for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're listening on any platform or you're watching us here on YouTube. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this first. This was the first episode of not being live. I think it will probably play a little bit better to you who are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of that. And hopefully you guys are watching on YouTube enjoyed it as well. Some foundation news to wrap it up. We do have some new dry fits hitting the site. Depending on when you're watching it, they might already be there. We also have some new logo hats on the way and a ton, when I say a ton, I mean a ton of new designs, new stamps, and some merch coming.
Of very cool stuff rolling out in the future. Very cool.
If you're not already following us on all of our social media platforms, please go ahead and do that. You can also join the Discord. The link is going to be in the description below. I don't know where you find links on Apple Podcasts and stuff like that, but they'll be there.
They'll be there
if you can find it. But join the Discord. I believe it's actually just /Foundation Disc Golf now. I think we got that. And then also Patreon. We're going to head over for the follow-up. If you're not a part of the Patreon and you want access to exclusive items, disc drops, the follow-up where it's just a live Q&A with whatever guest we have on or just us, you can find all of that at patreon.com/Foundation Disc Golf.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
We'll see you next week.